Hello. So after my last video I sort of thought, what can I do next? And I've decided just to move on to the next logical step after painting the models, which is basing them. So here you can see some of the stands that I've already done and the sort of basing scheme that I've picked for this War of the Roses project. I've decided to go with something fairly straightforward, and as you can see here, it's just a static grass with various pieces of clump foliage over some ground cover. This has all been put onto the Perry bases that come with them, although I think I'm going to run out, so I am going to have to order some more. So there's just an infantry stand, and you can see here it's the same thing with the cavalry. So it's fairly straightforward, and it's fairly quick and simple to do. So I'm just going to get set up, and we'll work our way through one, and I'll show you it from start to finish. Okay, here we have our light cavalry stands that we're going to be basing up. So we've got a lance soldier, and we have a guy with his longbow slung over his shoulder, sort of dramatically pointing in the way. So all I do first of all is I mix a 50-50 mix of PVA glue and water, and it just looks, it's just a little something like that, just mixed in anything. And then we're going to apply ground cover over it, which is this mixture you can see back here. This is taken from the Luke APS video where he demonstrates how to make it, and it's great. If you haven't seen his videos, I really suggest you go and watch them. They're brilliant. They really give you a lot of good ideas and cheap alternatives to other basing material, and just for doing anything to do with wargaming actually. My mix is made from dirt that I've dug out of the garden that's been baked. I've mixed in some small bits of roots and, I don't know, just little bits of garden matter, as well as a bit of coffee and a bit of tile grout, just to get some variation in the colour. Anyway, I will show you. So I don't bother painting the base first. I just do it straight on, and I just get the PVA glue on there, slap it on. Doesn't matter if it goes on the hooves, it'll just look like the horse is kicking up dirt as it's travelling. You just want to get, it doesn't even really matter if it's particularly even, because you'll have some sort of undulation in the ground then if you've got bits of clumps of PVA. You can put modelling putty on here first, stuff like milliput or green stuff if you're feeling flush, but I don't really bother. I tend to do that for things like command bases, where I'm not looking for sort of to rank them all up, and I want a bit more of a centerpiece. So like we got there, I've got that lump there, I'm quite happy with that. So there we go. I'm just going to make sure everything's covered. There we go, and that's it. So I'm just going to bring this forward here, and we're just going to just put it through a couple of sweeps in there. I don't shake off all of the excess material, and that's just because I want the PVA to soak it all up. So we're just going to take our stand here, and we'll pop him here, and we'll come back to it when it's dry, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, we're back, and that's now dried. If we have a look, as you can see, I think that looks quite nice. See the integral bases that are part of the horse, they show through a little bit, but once we put the flock on and the other parts, you won't really see those. So the next part that I use is I just have some static grass here. This is a sort of a hay summertime mix. Really, I couldn't even tell you where I got this from. I've got so many small bags of this stuff kicking about. I'm just going to put it on in little patches where I think it looks good and press it down, and then wait for that to dry. So same again, I just have a PVA water 50-50 mix, and I'm just going to put it on in patches where I feel that it will look the best. I haven't sealed the ground cover with anything yet. I do that all at the end, when I just give the whole thing a bit of a spray with a matte varnish. But to be honest, I've found that because I put it on in such large quantities, the PVA that is, when I'm preparing it, I've never really had any problems with it. I don't know if anyone else has, but that's all I'm going to do for this one. That's going to be the sum total of the static grass. So all we're going to do is just get that and just sprinkle that on, making sure to cover all the PVA, as much of the base as possible. Then press that down a little bit, and we'll set that aside to dry, and then we'll get on with the final part. Right, the static grass has now dried, and as you can see, we've got some nice patches there. And now I'm just going to finish that off. So all I do now is I have a tub here that I've been adding to for quite a few years now, and it's just a mixture of all the phlox and static grasses I've got that are about to run out, plus anything I find really. I just throw it in there, and it creates just sort of a nice scatter, but it's good for creating sort of scrub foliage and small weeds and plants on larger bases. There's some other sort of large pieces in there as well, which will look quite good. So all I do now is I get some super glue. I don't use PVA for this bit because my experience with PVA is that things fall off. So I use super glue now at this point. And what I do, I just get a cocktail stick and I just put it on little sort of spots and blobs all over it. And what this will represent is just small flowers or weeds that are sticking through the grass. Put some on the dirt as well. This will hold it fast. Okay. Now, let's get this stuff. Just sprinkle that on. So just anything you've got where you haven't got enough left to really do any basing with, or you perhaps buy some material and you don't like it, you don't think it's good enough, I just throw it in this tub. As you can see, I've had this tub quite a while. It's one of the old Citadel tubs of scorched grass from about 10 years ago. So there we go. Now I'll just check to see if there's anything on there I don't want. So for example, there's a leaf there, which not for this one, not this time. Let's get a few more bits in there. And there we go. Now I'm pretty happy with that. That's looking good. So there's just one more thing I want to do. I picked up quite a lot of these sort of flower pieces, as well as static grass tufts. You can get them from lots of different places. I'm just going to stick a single flower on here just to have something interesting on the base. So I'm just going to cut off a small bit. There we go. Oh, let's pop that there for a second, and a little blob of glue. Use tweezers because my experiences with this strong glue have not been good, as have some of my friends. Alright, let's stick that in now. And where's going to be a good place for this one to go? I think there actually. Turn that off. Okay. Right. After this, once that's dry, all I do is paint the rim of the base brown, and then we'll see how he looks. I won't film the painting of the bit brown because I'm pretty sure anyone knows how to do that, and I'll come back to it when he's all done and show you the end result. And there we have it. He's all finished, and he now just slots in with the rest of the unit. I've only got 2 more bases left to do on this unit, and then they're complete, and I'll be moving on to billmen and bowmen. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'll just take some close-ups of this lot, and thank you very much for watching.